guys, we're here at 401 Games with the OTS Championship. Matt, you finished top 4 with Rikka. Congrats. How are you liking the deck for the new format post-ban list?
Honestly, the deck's like still pretty good. As a combo deck, obviously, it has like decent matchups into most of the format. Unchained is like an interesting matchup. I didn't play today, but I did build my deck to beat it. And honestly, like I think with Rikka, it's just like knowing the lines and knowing how to play through interruptions is really important with the deck, because a lot of people struggle with going second with the deck, but I think that's like the most important way, because I won 0 of my die rolls today, and I think I won almost every single game. I think I lost 1 game 1, but other than that, I won going second a lot, and I think it's because of how I built my deck. I think my deck building was really good for this event. So shout out to Adam, obviously, he helped me build the main deck of this deck and the side deck. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, I guess before we get to profile, I just want to give you a pack of Team Sam's Cream Full sleeves. I understand you're actually using them already.
Yes,
so
they're the best sleeves ever.
I love use that code for 10% off. Alright, let's get to the profile then.
Alright. So first, obviously, 3 Lokai. Self-explanatory, this is the best card in the deck. It's full combo. Like this card has been like the craziest card for me, because like I've been in so many grind games where it's like I'm breaking their board, we finally get to main phase 2, and then I'll just normal this, and they're like, oh, I scoop, because like a lot of people now know like this is like the full combo card. Next, some of the other cards. So 2 Lone Fire, 1 Twin. So I think 2 Lone Fire isn't standard. I know Sunseed Jess was playing 2 in one of her lists, but I recently bumped it up to 2 just for the reason because for me, when you draw this card, it now becomes a starter, because it can obviously get you into Lokai, or specifically it can get you into Rose Whip or Petal, so whatever you're missing. But I was finding like it's also a combo piece, funny enough, to do the line to get to Regulus and everything. So I was finding that if I hard opened this and I had to normal summon this, it was like really, really bad. Well, like it wasn't like terrible, because like you'd still like I still knew a combo to do through it, but it was just better to have one of them in my deck. And obviously the thing is like a lot of people think like this deck is like super uber consistent. I don't think that's actually the case, because a lot of the ways to Lokai get interrupted really easily, and you can get Ash really easy. So my idea was like I definitely wanted to have as many starters as possible, and obviously you have to play one of this garbage brick. I drew it twice today. It was garbage. I lost only 1 game that I drew it though. That game I was losing regardless. Next, the other main deck Rikkas. 2 Mudon, 1 Snowdrop. I think that's very like standard. Everyone knows this. Mudon searches spell traps. Snowdrop brings the plant from hand and it level modulates. You definitely don't want to play more than one of this. A lot of people were like bumping it up, especially now that Kashtira is gone. Like the only argument that like this was like kind of crucial to kill a Rise Heart if you book the Rise Heart, because funny enough, this deck was really struggling with the book to Rise Heart. But and I got this banished, I remember, at Nats by a Rise Heart, but it, like honestly, you just only need to play 1. They're all bricks to like draw. Well, they're not bricks, but they're not great. 2 Petal. So I used to play this at 3 as another normal summon, but honestly, if you're normal summoning this, your end board usually is like 1 or 2 disruptions, so it's pretty garbage. But I mean, you need to play 2 specifically to search off Glamour, and I'll talk about later where the other applications are. It's also in the combo. Next, the level 4s. 3 Princess, 1 Primula. I think everyone knows Princess is like the best card in this deck. It's a monster negate in the graveyard, and it's an extender in hand. Primula is obviously the card you have to play with it to search off Glamour to make the free rank 4. Yeah, they were all really good today. Lastly, for monsters, 1 Regulus, 1 Lily. So I know there's arguments to play more than 1 Lily, but for me, I was just finding that like into Shifter, especially because I was very prepared for this event, that there was a lot of Flunderies. Into Shifter, Lily is like a very dead card, so you never want to draw into that. But going second, it's pretty decent into non-Shifter decks, and obviously Regulus for the combo. You side this out going second very frequently. For spells, first I'll start with 3 Glamour. Very standard. It's a Rhoda. It honestly is also kind of a board breaker in the sense with the field spell. So many times today I played against Brandon Chimera where I just went field spell and then tributed over his Dragoon with Glamour, and it just got me way too far ahead from that. The starters, the best card in the deck, 3 Unexpected Die. This is self-explanatory. E-Telly for the Lokai, doesn't use your normal summon, it's the best thing to open. This card, I think, is something that a lot of people aren't playing. So the thing about 1 for 1 is that I always sided out going second as well, but like once again, I was talking about how you want to have a lot of starters in the deck. I was finding that with the deck, not opening Lokai even going second was just like really hard, because the idea with this deck is that you don't kill very often unless you have the Lokai line. But 1-for-1 basically also just has like random synergies. Like for example, like 1-for-1 pitch Regulus. That's a good play because you will add Lily and then you can use Lily to attach Regulus. And like those are just like random hand pairings where it's really nice. The other one is 1-for-1 pitch Princess because you can bring up Petal and then have Princess engrave. So you'll have a negate for Ash, Droll, Nib already just like when you start your plays. So I think it's really good. But arguably, this can be taken out for like Small World. I know a lot of people are playing Small World and Kurikara. I don't own either of those cards, but I mean, those are viable options, I guess. 2 Sowing. So this is obviously the spell you search off of the seed. It's kind of an engine requirement to play at least 1. But the reason why you play 2 right now is like, one thing was that into Kashtira, you couldn't grind with them if you didn't have the second Sowing, because like sometimes they would like banish one and you just like absolutely destroy. So it's not actually bad to draw going second as well. It's just an extender. For the field spells, I played 2 Concon, 1 Terraforming, 1 Disc Coliseum. Now I know, so originally I was playing 3 Concon, and I know a lot of the Rikka players don't like that, but for me, when you go second, your best engine card is Concon. You definitely want to open it a lot, and a lot of times when you go first, especially during Droll format, when they would Droll you, you would actually want to have Concon, so you could like set the trap, you have interruption post, and I like built my deck to like beat Droll in case someone was on Droll, because I don't think it's correct this format, but I know a lot of people at 4-1 still play it. It's also like it's like the best card in the deck too, like other than Princess. Like these cards that came out in Pote like revolutionized the deck, obviously. Terraforming. So the reason why I cut one of the field spell for Terraforming was specifically just because I wanted to have a thrust target, which you'll see later, for Terraforming in case I hard open Princess and they nibbed me. Now my non-engine, 3 Eclipse. I was playing Book of Moon at YCS Vancouver, but I decided to take it out completely for Eclipse because at this event, I expected a lot of Branded Chimera, and Book of Moon can't really interact with their board if they have the Total engrave, which they always do. So this was just like the crazy card too. I said this a lot going first, I think it's like a very fine board breaking card still. I'm not sure if I'll still play it in the future, because I'm not sure, like I don't think it's the greatest card into Unchained, but overall it performed very fine today. Now 3 of the real best card in this deck. Triple Tactic Thrust, and then I'll show the targets. So the reason why Thrust is so crazy in this deck is that like the people who do play hand traps into you will just get obliterated by like the stuff that you set. And this is also one of those decks where it's like going second, you usually want to draw 1 non-engine and then play with like the field spell and stuff. So a lot of my games came down to like, against Chimera, for example, he draw phase sword at it. I was like, okay, Thrust, add evenly, beat him. Thrust, add talents was good. Duster was specifically because I know there's a lot of stun players and labyrinth players at this event as well. I want to have a main deck out to Tikaboo, which I played Drytron in round 1 and he main decked Tikaboo for some reason. And yeah, it kind of like, I like thrusted into this, beat him with it. Oh, and Dark Ruler. This card should not be played this format, but once again, I'm pretty familiar with how the format is at this local, so it's like, it was a good medical for it, because I won every game I drew it. Last card is the Sheet, obviously. Engine requirement for the trap. This is super broken into monster heavy decks. So I played against Rescue Ace and Sprite today. This is the card you always want to be setting against their deck, because you just tribute 1, steal 1, and then it puts them on half the extender. So often that plus a bounce from Bangle Lancer, a tribute from Teardrop, that was enough to just like blank their boards completely. So I think the thing with She is that like a lot of people need to know is that you just want to be setting this card off the field spell a lot. For the extra deck, I think this is like really standard. I'm just going with this fast, like 3 Dryas, 2 Healer, 1 Thrasher. Like the extra deck cannot be changed now. It's like one of the unfortunate things about playing this. Like if you know like the combo lines, like you have to play this exact ratio. Definitely do not cut Dryas at all. A lot of game states, you will link off one of your monsters in Dryas, attack with it, and then bring out one of these to get an additional link monster. Link 2s, 2 Jasmine, Dance Peon. This card's a custom card. It's the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh! Please don't ban this card. This card, one of my games, it hit literally the craziest thing ever, and it's the reason why I drew against Bestor, who also topped this event. It was really good. Link 3 Melius, Link 4 Bangle Lancer, pretty self-explanatory. This one is how you get to the Link 4 for free, and then the Link 4 is a bounce, and then often you'll tribute it to extend, and then you can bring it back because it's got like the Chaos Ruler effect. Xerxes, 2 Strenna, Hyperiton, and Teardrop. Also very self-explanatory. You need 2 Strenna for the grind game, and the combo where you pass to them on Hyperiton. Finally, for the side deck, 1 Naturi Rose Whip, the best card in the plant decks. This is like one of the only going first cards I like sided, in the sense that like I think with this deck you shouldn't be playing stuff like Rivalry. You shouldn't be playing things like the Spirit Water Art. You should be playing cards that like through your engine you just tutor out. So there's a line in this deck where you can just get this out with Lone Fire. Spider Orchid. This card is basically only for the Stun and Floodgate decks. I want to have a main deck out to, well, not main deck, obviously a side deck out to the Floodgates post side into like Skill Drain, into like Gozen. Because what you can do is you can search it off Glamour by attributing your monster and add Petal in this, because they're both level 1. For the hand traps, I played a lot of hand traps on the side. I played 3 Crow, 3 Ash, and 3 Nib. So Crow was obviously for Unchained predominantly. I also put it into Tier Limit, but he still destroyed me because he milled Kelbeck and Agito, but that's another story. Yeah, I just didn't really see any of the hand traps today other than Nib, but even the Nib was like kind of just like whatever. The idea is though, is like if I have to go first as well, like I'll keep some of the hand traps that are like okay, and then obviously side out the thrust targets that are meant for going second. I think they all perform well. You need Ash definitely. I brought it for this event to beat Branded because there's a ton of Branded players here. Yeah. Finally, 2 Dark Ruler, Herald, and Magic Deflector. So once again with the Dark Ruler, shouldn't be in the deck. It's trash, but it was good for this locals because I expected a lot of decks that would lose to Dark Ruler, and they did. 1 Herald just as the thrust target into Purely. I didn't play against Purely. And 1 Magic Deflector. I got a deck check, and I forgot to write this in my deck list, but so I didn't get to play this in Top Cut, but the idea was, I never saw this in Swiss anyway, so it didn't matter. The thing is this was the card I brought for Flutter. Shout out to Adam for telling me to do this, because I was going to play Daruma Cannon, and that card's like just terrible into Flunder. But this card blanks Flunder, it's good into Purely, it's good into the Branded Chimera deck. Like I think this should be the new thrust target if your deck like kind of loses to Shifter going first.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for the deck profile. Any last shout-outs?
Shout-outs always to my team, Team X9. Wouldn't be here without them for their testing and their support. Shout out to the 6YGO, best vendor on Facebook. Shout out to my boy Alex, he also topped this event, letting me cards, and he's my boss. And you know, shout outs to James for the great content.
Awesome, thank you.